Hey everybody, Matt Johnston here, Matt the Lawyer, and we're going to be talking about, we're going to talk a little bit about the law as a broad scope of things. So before we get started, if you wouldn't mind, please hitting the subscribe button down below and click on the bell to find out when we get other new videos coming in. So like most businesses, this past year has been a bit of a challenge for attorneys. Not just in the matter of generating and keeping business, but also just in the mere fact of how the law operates. So I wanted to tell a story about this cool gift that my youngest daughter gave me. She found a book at, I don't even know where it was, and it was a book about civil procedure in courts in Ohio. Now you may be wondering, so why would she get this? This book was published before the Civil War. Now, the interesting thing about the book is some of the rules of civil procedure really haven't changed. See, the law is generally a very slow evolving sort of situation. The world changes faster than the law does. And that's one of the challenges that, for example, courts and lawyers have, is applying the law to new models of interaction within the world, new models of business, new models of interaction between, say, landlords and tenants, between buyers and sellers. So it is often a challenge to keep up with the changing circumstances in the world and the law to do so. Now, lawyers, we're pretty used to the law changing kind of slowly, a little over time. Very few people would consider lawyers to be bleeding edge technologists where we're thinking about how to regulate or manage something from a legal perspective before it's even invented. So we have those sorts of situations in the world, things that are changing, things that are brand new, things that are dynamic and evolving in very, very short time frames. But the law doesn't work that way. The challenge for the past year is that, the law was working that way. One of the challenges that a lot of my clients faced this year was kind of conflicting guidance from both federal agencies, state agencies, and sometimes local governments. I have one client who has a couple of fitness franchises, and they were operating in different counties here in the state of Maryland. Well, those different counties had different standards and criterias for how many people could be in the space. And it was a different calculation and very sort of troubling to deal with that, complicated and complex, and quite frankly, very frustrating for my client and not so enjoyable for me. But that is the nature of our system. But because of COVID and because of so many of the other things that are happening, the law is changing with much more pace. And this presents a challenge, not just for clients, but for lawyers trying to solve and accommodate the problems. So the value of the book, the civil procedure book that my daughter gave me, is a reminder not just of how slow the law changes, but the fact that the law, although it may be changing, does provide some basis. It provides some foundation that is generally pretty sound. So the rules in which a court operate, they have been updated, they've been modernized to deal with, say, for example, online filing or electronic filing. And of course now with Zoom hearings and things of that nature. So while the techniques are changing, the rules haven't changed that much. Now, I do think the rules are going to change a little bit, and that's always a good thing. But the nice thing about the law and it being slow to change is we can usually see it coming. And I guess that's one of the hard parts about this past year, is that so much information was being generated so quickly and so many things were changing so rapidly that the law was being changed or being interpreted so many different ways on a very, very short time frame. And it's just not something that lawyers are used to doing. It's hard to keep up. And I just wanted to share that with everybody. It's not an easy thing to experience as a client, it's also disconcerting for a lawyer because we feel like we want to provide some at least knowledge, or at least some certain unknowns. So like the phrase is known unknowns. We would like to know what we don't know. Well, the difficulty that we have faced over the past year is that we know there are things that we don't know, and we don't know what the categories of those are going to look like. We also don't know what, from week to week, what interpretation is going to be placed on the current law that's available. So I just wanted to give you an insight into how I as a lawyer work, and maybe how other lawyers work. It's not the easiest thing in the world. We are really trying to give you the best advice that we can based upon the information at hand. And I've tried to let clients know where I think the law is going, but it's only a probability. It's not a certainty. In the meantime, I hope you will subscribe to our channel so that you can do that right up here on this side. Other content that's available you can check out over here, and you can always go to our website at mattthelawyer.com to check out all of our content, as well as if you would like to book a consultation with us, you can do so there. In the meantime, stay safe out there and go out and watch some live soccer, everybody. Bye-bye.